Hello and welcome to AM Guitar with me, Anjay. Today we are looking at the Boss Metal Zone Waza. Yeah, I feel like a dick doing that as well. Right. Boss Metal Zone has a fairly dubious reputation in the guitar industry because, to be fair, the original sounded crap in almost every situation because it's so difficult to actually use properly. Once it's set up, it is actually a surprisingly versatile gain pedal, which is as useful for kind of blues rock as it is for metal, but it's just very hard to get there. The Waza adds a new mode which changes the frequencies, changes the EQ, and makes it something a lot more usable and much more akin to the kind of modern rock that we're used to now. But the standard mode is still in there, although slightly tweaked. Now, what made this so difficult to use but so versatile is this EQ setting. And what you have is you have the high and the low are set up on like a dual concentric control. Then you have this clever mid EQ control. And what that does, the outside dial chooses the frequency that you're going to boost or cut, and the inside dial cuts or boosts that frequency, which is, as I said, partly why it's so difficult to use. And also, it does sound a little bit buzzsaw-like for most people's uses. So let's just dig into it on the standard mode first and just show you what that sounds like. So everything's at 12 except for the volume. Just whack the gain right up. And let's do what everyone did when they got one of these the first time. Take the mids out. Now I'm going to play with the outer frequency on the mids, just so you can hear what kind of difference that makes. So I'm going to first of all sweep it all the way towards me, then all the way towards my bathroom door. And that's what people mostly think of when they think of the Waza, of the Metal Zone. Now we can boost those frequencies all the way. Point is, you can find a sweet spot with this. Kind of a sweet spot. And also you can boost the high and the low, or cut the high and the low. Nice. Or cut it all the way. And it is an active EQ, so it boosts and it cuts by about 15 dB, I think. So that's the original standard Waza. And in a mix, you can make it sound okay. On its own, it probably sounds okay, but it's not for everyone. Certainly wasn't for me when I got it. But then I'd stop playing Metallica-y stuff by then. So I'm going to set everything back to 12, including the gain, and we're going to switch it between the standard and the custom mode. visually see there is a very big difference in the frequency range. It's kind of a much looser sound. I'm going to cut some of the mid frequency. Full gain. Back to the standard, just so you can hear the difference so far. So I'm going to pump, I'm going to take all the mids out, I'm going to play around with where the frequency is. So no matter where you are, you can hear there's that kind of slightly less buzzsaw-y sound to it. Now the treble and the bass control. So you can still bring it back in. Now for me personally, there's kind of a nice sweet spot, actually around 12 o'clock and everything. So I've got the frequency sweep at 12, I've got bass at 12, treble at 12, and I've got the mid just notched back very slightly to sort of 11 o'clock. Now then, as a blues player, how does this work for me? So, if I turn the gain down to about 12 o'clock, so it actually cleans up a lot better than you'd expect it to. Some more mids in. And then roll the volume up. So even as a blues player, there's an awful lot of range on this pedal that I'll make use of. If I whack the gain all the way up, the gain all the way up. There's a lot less noise in the original, and there's still some hiss. But with the volume control, again, I can bring it out to such a low gain. If I switch it on to single coil, so as you can see, the Metal Zone Waza is much more versatile than you might at first think. It's not just a metal machine, especially with the custom mode on, because that just opens up the pedal, takes out some of that kind of really horrible scooped bees in a tin sound, and makes it a much more versatile pedal for any kind of player, from blues all the way through to kind of thrash and rock and all these sorts of things. For me, it's currently sat on my board after the VS Audio Royal Flush as kind of a last high gain setting, because it gives me that kind of sustain that I would want from a big Marshall amp, for instance, you know, just hitting a note and it's staying there forever. Pushing a tube screamer or something into it just gives it that kind of almost endless sustain into feedback and just becomes a thing of beauty. That's what I think. I picked this up on eBay for, I think, about £85, which I think is a great deal for something as versatile as this. I've had the original Metal Zone and was not a fan. This is definitely a keeper for me. Well, let me know your thoughts. I mean, have you used the Metal Zone? Have you kind of fallen in and out of love with it? Have you owned multiple Metal Zones? Have you stacked multiple Metal Zones? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you're interested, I've just released this silly t-shirt, Midza for Kids, which I thought was rather relevant to the Metal Zone. I'll put a link to the shop to get this in the description if you're interested. Other than that, stay safe. I'll see you again soon. Cheers.